The front door of my house slammed against the wall so hard it felt like a raging storm had just shoved it open. The hallway pictures on my wall rattled violently, and the family photos trembled as if they were protesting the intrusion. A woman in her 50s stormed into my home like a whirlwind and marched straight into my kitchen. Her face was twisted with self-righteous anger, and the way she swung that crumpled clipboard in her hand made it look like a weapon. A shiny HOA print on her clothes glimmered under the sunlight filtering into my house. "Remember, this is your 4th violation this month," she shrieked in a siren-like voice. "Your grass is half an inch too tall. Your trash was visible for 27 minutes after collection. And that mailbox you installed, it's an eyesore for the entire street." I stood at the entrance of the living room, holding a half-finished coffee mug, watching this stranger walk around my home like she owned the place, as if the deed to my house was sitting inside her purse. She ran her finger across the countertop, checking for dust. Then, God help me, she even opened my refrigerator. "Excuse me," I said, steadying myself. "You need to leave my home right now." She turned toward me with the dramatic flair of a movie actress performing for the camera. Her bleached hair whipped around as she spun, settling back over her shoulders. "I am Karen Thompson," she declared proudly, as if she were the fiercest woman in this entire housing community. The moment she reached for my phone, probably, to take photos of imaginary violations, I instinctively moved forward. Years of FBI agent training awakened inside me. "Ma'am," I said in a calm but authoritative tone, "you've just committed a serious crime." Flashback. And this is where the real story begins. 3 weeks earlier. 3 weeks before the break-in, I had moved into a quiet suburban neighborhood hoping for peace after 2 decades of high-pressure fieldwork. My name, Agent Ryan Hale, FBI, 20 years of service. But Karen Thompson, the self-appointed queen of the Willowbrook HOA, had other plans. From day one, she targeted me like a heat-seeking missile. "Your mailbox is 2 inches too low. There's a microscopic oil stain in your driveway. Your American flag is the wrong shade of blue." Neighbors warned me with tired voices. "That's just Karen. She thinks she runs a military base." After a harmless weekend barbecue, wrapped up before 8 p.m., Karen stormed in with a tape measure, declaring my grill was 0.3 feet out of regulation. From that day on, the harassment turned into psychological warfare. Anonymous notes on my door, photos through my fence, flashlight cameras at night, even a stepladder she used to peek into my garage. She created a Facebook group dedicated to documenting my so-called violations. And when she photoshopped my lawn to look dead, that's when I knew she was obsessed. That afternoon, I was repairing a few fence boards in my backyard with noise-canceling headphones on. I didn't hear a thing, but Karen did. She watched, waited, noticed the unlocked door, and walked in like a thief wrapped in arrogance. For 45 minutes, she rummaged through my mail, bills, notebooks, calendars, photographing everything like she had FBI clearance. When I walked inside for a drink, I froze. She stood over my dining table like a criminal cataloging stolen goods. "What exactly do you think you're doing?" She puffed her chest. "I'm conducting a lawful HOA inspection." I started recording. "You just committed breaking and entering, trespassing, and potential identity theft." She laughed, ridiculed the law, claimed HOA rights allowed her inside my private home, and then she saw my badge. Her face drained of color. Her clipboard dropped. Her voice shrank. "You're FBI?" "20 years, I replied. "And that camera," I pointed, "has been recording you since the second you barged in." When I called dispatch, panic struck her like lightning. She begged, "I'll resign. I'll approve everything. Just don't call the police." But crime doesn't get undone by regret. 2 officers walked in. I showed them the footage. Karen was arrested on the spot. She screamed, "You can't arrest me. I know the mayor." But Officer Ramirez simply said, "Ma'am, none of that matters. Hands behind your back." The cuffs clicked. Neighbors gathered outside, some cheering, some filming, everyone relieved. The tyrant was finally dethroned. The fallout. The DA reviewed the evidence, an airtight case. Criminal trespass, unlawful entry, attempted identity theft. Punishment under state law, up to 3 years. Her real estate employer dropped her. The HOA held an emergency meeting and unanimously removed her as president. Her neighbors stood one after another, recounting 5 years of harassment. Her downfall was complete, and the headline the next morning sealed her fate. HOA president arrested after breaking into FBI agent's home. The woman who once ruled the neighborhood with a clipboard and a tape measure was now left with nothing but humiliation, probation, fines, and community service. As the police escorted Karen out of the house, her usual arrogance was still there, but for the first time her steps were shaky. For 4 straight weeks, she had terrorized this neighborhood. But today, someone finally stopped not her power, but her behavior. The FBI agent stood by the doorway, calmly setting his coffee mug on the table, and said in that same steady, controlled tone, "Karen, HOA or not, you're not above the law. You cannot walk into people's homes." The police car door shut with a heavy thud, and suddenly the entire house felt different. A peaceful stillness that only comes after justice finally lands. The FBI agent took one last look around his home, let out a quiet breath, and with a faint smile said, "Looks like this neighborhood is finally getting its first peaceful night in 3 weeks." If you enjoyed this HOA vs FBI justice story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel Host Street. Hit the like button, and if you want more wild HOA revenge and justice stories, drop a comment below and let me know. Your support helps me bring you even bigger stories. For more intense episodes, subscribe now to Host